So I'm now going to introduce our first speaker. This is a surprisingly difficult thing to do because to a large extent the speaker doesn't actually need to be introduced. Dr. Ahmad Al Dubayan will be speaking first, and just for those of you, I kind of have to introduce him, if only as a formality. But since 2001, Dr. Dubayan has been the Director General of the Islamic Cultural Centre, the London Central Mosque, and is very much our host here tonight.
Don't tell them I'm old.
In this role, he has introduced several remarkable initiatives, many of which focus on interfaith work and fostering an understanding between the faiths. If that wasn't enough, Dr. Dubayan also serves as a trustee to several UK charities, and Dr. Dubayan is now going to speak to us a little bit about Islamophobia, about its impact, and about some of the work that this great organisation has undertaken around this already. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Chairman, to stand here is better. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulullah. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start with Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Well, this is the way how Muslims greet each other, and of course I know all of you, or at least most of you, know what it means. Salam, it means peace, which is in Hebrew shalom. Peace be upon all of you. Actually, we wish peace will be with you all the time. First of all, thank you very much for organizing this this event today here in the Islamic Cultural Center. On behalf of myself and the directors of the organization, we are so happy to have it here today. Thank you to all of you also who come with us today. Indeed, the subject today, Islamophobia and anti-Semitism, is really something very, very important. I believe it's something really in this time now, in this modern time, when all the world come closer to each other, countries come closer to each other, politically, economically, technologically also. Now the modern technology bring people together. We are not now in a world like before, that is anybody can live isolated or live alone away from other people, other countries, other communities or other societies. You cannot today. You have to live within the world. So what's been said during the 50s, that is the world is going to be a small village, it's now happening today. When we think about this as a principle, that means, of course, we expect from this world, which is going to be a small village, is to have more chances to know each other, to have more chances to have knowledge about each other. And Islamophobia or anti-Semitism, they are really against this directly. Is the microphone okay for the people at the event? It's okay. Islamophobia is one of the phenomena that is we are attending or we are having in these days. Of course, it's not totally or new only. It started long time ago, some centuries ago, but actually in the modern time, in the last 30 years, we see it now more and more. There are, of course, many reasons for this. I don't want to go to discuss that too much. What we want really in this world, what we want is exactly as Muslims at least, and I'm sure the others are like us, to have what we have here in the Quran translation read by the Sheikh Qadi when he read these verses from the Quran, which saying really Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created you in races, nations, so that you can know each other, not of course to fight each other, not to hate each other. And one of the main things in Islam, very clearly in the Quran and in the Hadith, the traditions of the Prophet, that is people are equal. There is no superiority or inferiority for anybody, either he is white or black or Arab or not Arab. This is very clear in Islam, very clear in the Quran, very clear in the traditions of the Prophet. And we believe also this is the message of all really religions revealed to the mankind. It's not possible, that is, to have God who can speak to some people and leave others, who can have some people as private and leave the others, he doesn't speak to them. We are all equal in humanity, we are all the same. So we see this Islamophobia or anti-Semitism is really against this, is against that. It is one of the phenomena now we should really, as communities, to stand together for, against, and really try to clarify this and try to fight it by all means and by all possibilities. Let me recall something from history. Anti-Semitism, or what we call it, the Jewish question, when it started in 19th century, it was something like Islamophobia today. Hatred, anti-Semitism, hatred for the Jewish people in Europe in that time. In that time, actually, nobody stood against it clearly and using all the possibilities and possible means during these days, till that led to what we know about, of course, in the 30s and the 40s, when the Holocaust happens. And this is going exactly, we have fears that is going to lead the same result with Islamophobia if actually in Europe now we stand and we leave it as it is. We don't fight it. We don't do all actually, or try all the possible solutions to stand against that. If people or the world had stood again against anti-Semitism in the early 19th century or the early 20th century, we wouldn't have seen actually the result that we had seen during the 40s and the 30s. I'm sure about that. But many people ignore it, neglect it, or support it even. Some thinkers even support it in those days for many reasons. Now we saw always what that led to. I think the future of Europe and the whole world really is in danger if the world really becomes silent against all these movements, against certain people in the world, either sectarianism, or Islamophobia, anti-Semitism. Any movement actually against any race or any nation in the world is really something must be stopped and must be addressed, and we should not really be quiet about. In Europe also recently, and unfortunately, recently we see that there is a rise of really the right wing in all Europe, in many countries, and we are really so worried, and all Muslim communities, not only Muslims, also many people, Jewish community also are worried, and other people really are so worried about it. That is, where is this going? What is going to happen after that? Is this going to continue? There are, of course, many reasons for this, most of them economical reasons. Sometimes it's misunderstanding, and we as Muslims suffer a lot from this misunderstanding and misinterpretation, particularly about Islam in the media. And this misunderstanding and these narratives really in the media which support this misunderstanding Islam worrying us too much. I think this disturbs also all the interfaith and dialogue works we are doing in all organizations. There are many leaders in all the communities, Muslim communities, Jewish community, Christians, Hindu, Sikhs, others. They are all really, many of them leaders in dialogue, and they are always trying to open more spaces for understanding and for more knowledge about others. But these people who support these Islamophobic feelings around us, they are killing the chances to have a chance more and more and more. It's really shocking number that is, we know 40% the hatred crimes really increased since 2017. This shows us really how the situation in the society. And at the same time, this shows us really how big the responsibility we have all against this. Especially, of course, the authorities, especially security authorities or authority for security. There is a lot of things could be done. I believe I can refer to some of them. One of the things really we have to do, we need to build really like a common culture among all the communities about Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, about any kind of hatred targeting anybody, not only Muslims or Jews, but anybody. Any kind of hatred, this culture of hatred must be stopped. And this actually retrieving of the history. History could be a very good teacher if we learn from it, but history could be also a big and crazy monster if we try to bring the history as it is and live within the history itself. This is very dangerous. And I don't need to refer to some countries in the world, what's happening there, because of something happened long time ago. History sometimes is a killer if we don't understand it. So building common, let's say, culture and awareness in all the communities about these things, we have to show really also the face of the faiths. Faiths themselves must speak up and must talk about it. They must, every faith leader must educate his community through the organizations about these phenomena themselves, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia. This must be addressed by imams, by rabbis, by priests, by also monks, by everybody. Some people, the normal people, when they see these faith leaders quiet, they think this is something normal. But when they speak up, then people understand it. Also, we need also to clarify this misunderstanding about Islam itself. We are doing a lot, but maybe this is not enough. Now, the problem with today, also the internet. Internet is really a school which is available at home, but can teach something good and can teach something bad. So how to encounter this, how we stand against that, how we clarify our situation, how we really break the narratives of these people who spread this hatred and targeting other people. And we need really to think about that. We need to have initiatives. And finally, I think it is very important we target young children, the youth. The youth must be addressed. They must learn something. Some people really teach the youth in schools how to hate others and how they think when they see, for example, somebody from that faith or from other. This must be tackled, and we have to address it. We have to really stand for this. Home Office also have, of course, a big responsibility about fighting against that. By all means and all possibilities, this must be stopped in a way or another. And I think the best way to do it is really having more awareness and more knowledge about other people and continuing this communication, giving more chance for faith leaders really to talk, maybe more than politicians sometimes. Politicians sometimes make things a little bit difficult, but faith leaders sometimes I'm saying make it really easier and better. So these tolerant voices must be raised and must be welcomed. This is actually the model that is we have to follow, and we have to raise it, and we have to always highlight it among the society, and especially targeting the fresh minds, the youth minds. They are really the future. So we have to build for the future from now. This is very, very important. Again, I have to say I welcome all the guests and speakers, our friends here. And also I welcome all of you, ladies and gentlemen. I think it's a very important issue. And if we don't convey the message, this message of tolerance from each community to each community and from each community to another community, I think we are going to fail. When we fail, this is really something very dangerous for all the society and for all of us, because we are all standing in one boat. And hatred doesn't know borders. When you allow for it, it will go actually destroying everything. And I think in the history and in the present time, we have a lot of examples, and all of you know these examples. We don't want this to happen again, neither in the UK nor anywhere else in the world. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.